with Russians. I thought all bees were shitheads. I really did. And he got some white pollen going in the front door.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's some light colored pollen
It's a
in it.
little yellow. It's a very, very light yellow. I just saw bright orange in there.
Yeah.
And that wasn't going on when it started.
No, I didn't notice it. I know it's funny how they do different plants at different times of the day, too.
Yes, they absolutely will. And certain plants produce nectar at certain times of the day.
Yeah.
Like I've been some beginner hives this year, like they're going in the cups, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's my we're soaping this time. They're going in the cups.
Well,
I shouldn't say that. That's why we're definitely requeening this. The soaping is if they're pouring out the door, actually.
the times I've been stung in the cuffs and in the elbow crook of your arm is when they've got skunks.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Yeah. So I always do try to watch for the skunk signs and then take care of the skunk problem before I requeen or do anything else. But these are high enough. I don't think any skunks are getting these.
Other layers, like if they're sick, like a lot of beginners have mean hives because they're sick.
Yeah.
Not necessarily came in mean, or they ended up with mean hives from their nuke producer.
Yeah.
Because they were selling sick bees.
One thing I learned after all these years of beekeeping from not treating and then building back up and treating is that if a hive's mean, they've got some kind of problems, which I always knew the skunks were a problem, but if they've got mites, they're meaner. If they've got hive beetles bad, they're a lot meaner. If they're dealing with something, they're going to be meaner.
About 4 years ago, back when I was still washing every hive, I could literally tell you which ones were going to be high based off their temper. You can tell a difference.
Which ones were going to go?
Which ones were going to have a bad mite load.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, their temperament's definitely not better and you get them healthy.
Yes. And so often the first thing to do, no matter what the behavior is do a mite wash. Because a lot of times that's what your issue is. 3 out of 300, so 1%.
Cool.
And there's a stinger floating around down there that pretends it's a... Now that said, I want to look at this friend. We haven't seen one like this today. It'd be a good one for your video to see. Like, even though these bees are a little bit touchy, they are definitely healthy.
Yeah, it's funny how your meanest hives are a lot of times your best.
Well, if
healthiest hives.
If they weren't healthy, you got rid of them already. So.
Yeah, I know.
There's just that little.
Oh, wow.
There's just some decent brood on there, and of course that's where your apivar was.
Yep.
And that's normal for them to do that.
There's some of that white pollen there.
Sure is. I think is it snakeweed or root? Snake root. I think snakeweed has one that's that color. Yeah. That says who knows.
We ain't seen a queen yet today.
Not a single one, and I'm okay with that. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I've seen enough queens for this year. I'm gonna put them back together. Really, they're not that terrible. They're workable, especially if you put gloves on.
Yeah, I can work about all my hives without gloves except for that one.
Yeah.
And depending on the kind of day, sometimes some days I'll be meaner than others.
And I'm sure, like, if this thing's bucking around, if you're doing all sorts of supers on it, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
That's the one downside of this hive around. Not as bad as that one hive that had the pallets as the hives.
Oh yeah, where you're jerking it all around.
To get up to the hive to even touch it, you're shaking the hive.
So another thing that I've always heard, but I found out to be true doing it so long, is that the hives, the worst boxes that let in the most air, seem to be the best hives too.
Oh, I've not heard that one.
Oh, you haven't heard that?
No.
A lot of your commercial beekeepers will say that they're boxes that need to be replaced and they just got leaks and holes all in it. You can see that box is not in very good shape at the corner. It's an old box, but I know a lot of people don't agree with the ventilation argument, but Al Landry told me that ventilation was a key to beekeeping, and I believe it.
Well, you know, there's reasons people started venting everything.
Yeah.
And there's also reasons why the bees button stuff up.
Yeah,
but like, they can close that if they want to.
If they want to.
And they can.
But you've seen they was all coming in over here.
Yeah, and that's
a lot of them were.
That's chewed down and propolised. Like that's hard. That's not squishy.
Yep.
That was their choice. And a wrinkle to that statement is it might be the healthy bees chewing holes in hives.
Yeah,
So,
true.
Did a strip ride out with this box? That looked like it was the only strip that was in there. Oh, nope, there's a strip hanging out the bottom.
Oh yeah, there was a strip on the bottom of that. Stuck to the bottom. I thought I got them all out.
Oh, they're easy to miss. That is one downside. Ape bar, you gotta get back in. So ape guard just stops it.
Yeah, it's all going in.
I get in that hive when I get in that hive.
I like I treated it in the 25 gram doses this year instead of 50 gram.
Yeah.
And it seemed they used it up a lot better at 25 than they did at 50. They would leave it like a crusty.
Yeah,
they wouldn't get it all out.
They broke a lot over it.
Yeah.
I use 25s. And I might try 25s when it's technically too cool next year.
What is it, below 80? Apigar doesn't do as good?
No, I think it's like 73. It's some goofball number.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to switch to the different doses. This high was actually like this. I remember the blue was close. But the reality is, 2 weeks at half doses, I did a wash. I didn't need a treatment anymore.
Yeah.
And that halves the dose, half the time, half the expense.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of upside to doing that. Definitely riveting. Definitely agitated. That's a 4 hive. That's a double D. Did I write the weight down? No, I sure didn't. I didn't write anything.
Uh-oh.
That one was like 91.
91.
And this is Troy 3 Grumpy. They actually want us to note the aggression levels with the sampling. And I mean Purdue. Purdue wants to note it.
Oh, really?
I think they're looking at amounts of
African, yeah.
Let's see. Let's put everything up that we can.
All right.
And we'll bonk these ones just to see what happens.
All right.
Ended up with 2 of these because I keep losing them.
Oh, do you?
They're a handy thing, but they're easy to lose. They have an awkward shape. They don't have any particular place to put them in the trap.
Yeah.
So they float around or get pulled out and left. They were actually pretty behaved.
Yeah, they wasn't too bad. They've been
They didn't care for when I pulled that box off.
Yeah.
If I smoked them more aggressively, it probably wouldn't have been as bad.
Well, we had 3 in that one?
Yeah, 3 out of 300, so it's a 1%.
Yeah, 1%.
You didn't do washes before you treated, correct?
No, I haven't done any washes this year.
Oh, that's right. You haven't done any. That's right.
No washes, just treated. Like I said, I started out trying to treat just the ones that needed it, and then the ones that I ended up not treating because they didn't need it.
Needed it on the back end.
Yeah, I ended up needing it after all. I should have just treated them to start with. So.
The risk is then when I have those high numbers afterwards, regardless, depending on those numbers change.
Yeah.
So you kind of always have to.
Well, it's hard to, yeah, it's so hard to predict.
You always have to watch,
Yeah.
Because like the guy that had the 26, I'm sure that hive had 0 at one point. That's how we treated them.
Yeah. Yeah, that one hive, I was like, oh, I can't believe it. I got a hive that has no mites, and the rest of them were pulling. They went all summer. I checked them all summer. I really checked too much, but it really taught me a lot too, because I checked them in the spring, didn't have any mites. I checked them in the summer, June, July, maybe 1 or 2 mites, hardly any mites. August, I thought they're not going to have any mites. There was like, they averaged probably 10. All of them but that one averaged probably 10 mites.
Yeah.
So I learned that August was the month you need to be treating for mites.
Yes.
And I learned that even if they don't show mites, for myself, I'm treating them anyway.
Well, one of the wrinkles you run into is if you have a hygienic stock, something that inherently reduces its mite population either through chewing or uncapping or any of those other behaviors, one of the things they figured out, and this is actually Dr. Harper figured this one out, the guy at Purdue, if you explore the genetics of those bees and what genes are turned on or off, the hygienic bees have a bunch more smelling genes turned on.
Yeah.
And that's on one hand great because they can smell the sick cells and get rid of the varroa. I also think it makes them better robbers.
Yeah,
They can smell the hives before everyone else can, the sick hives.
I'd always thought I'd read that bees could smell 10 times better than a dog, but I read a study this year that says they can smell 50 times better than a dog.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable to me.
It is, and also they smell in stereo because the smelling organs are on their antenna.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine. Because ours is on our nose.
Yeah.
Ours is pretty directional.
It's hard to fathom the way they do things and see things.
Yeah.
We try to relate everything the way we do it and feel it and see it.
Oh, their vision's so wild.
Yeah.
They see a lot of the infrared spectrum. And like if they looked up in the sky, they'd see a bunch of rings, like a big bullseye around the sun.
Yeah.
And that's actually how they navigate, is that spectrum. Because they can tell where the sun is, even if only part of the sky is blue. Which is just unbelievable that they can do that.
Yeah. A lot of things bees do is unbelievable.
Indeed. They're fascinating creatures, which makes this stuff all the more interesting and engaging to do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it comes out.
I'm pretty sure if this was beef cattle, I'd be bored and moved on to the things by now.
Nothing
against cattle, but
I've done a little. We had sheep for a while, and we've had cattle for a while, and we've done a lot of different stuff. But I like everything about bees better. But one of the things that's different from bees to cattle is like the genetics. I can control the genetics within weeks.
So much easier.
Instead of years.
Yes. With bees, you're just kind of drifting. Unless you have II equipment, which no one does, you're just kind of pushing them in a direction, hoping they take it. That's all you can do. And even with II, you're still allowed to guess what you're going to get out of it before you put it into. I'll get this cart ready to go, so if they're all over
so we can jump in and take off.
we can get out of here.
Get out and die.
Stuck out here picking up crap afterwards. That's no fun.
That's why I think there's no real true line of bees anymore. They're all genetically mixed to some point or another.
Yes, and that's true even in their homelands. So like you look at Germany, quote unquote, the place where the Apis mellifera comes from. Like a lot of Germans switched to Carnostyle.
Yeah.
Washed it out. That said, there's Larry Young in Kentucky. He's got bees that are 70% mellifera. This is unbelievable.
So does this testing, does it show what percentage of a line of bee they are?
Yes.
Will it show that they're Caucasian or Russian?
We'll have intermediate results and then final results. The intermediate results are kind of more of a guesstimate of what you have. And it looks a lot like mitotyping data, where they'll tell you it's either an A, M, or C. L, C. And that just kind of splits them into either African or German or Italian / Carney / Caucasian.
So
because those three
generally
are more closely related than they are to the other one.
Yeah.
There's another one too. What's the other band? I don't know. It's probably gonna piss off every time.
Just make them all mad.
I need to shorten this leg. It's not gonna be perfect because the ball is not right in front of the hive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this off so I don't shatter it. That's effective, and there's already bees stinging it.
They're already coming out. Uh-oh.
Oh, gracious.
I did it the other way.
That's good enough. That's okay. You can see them, they're already popping the seams.
Oh, yeah.
The worst one we got a number on was over 220 stings.
Well, is it really?
Yeah. They'll just sting the piss
Yeah.
And most of the bees are coming from this hive. They're not coming from any different hive.
It doesn't look like it, does it?
No, it really almost looks like it's supposed to be that.
Yeah.
Which also somewhat tells you how much grumpier they are than the other hive around it.
Yeah.
Interesting. It didn't transmit the vibrations to the hive as bad as I thought it would.
I thought they was all shaking pretty good. But the other hives are, you know, just not
they're
as
just
aggressive.
chill. Now, admittedly, they haven't had someone in them.
Yeah.
But also, they haven't been smoked. That one's been smoked.
Yeah.
So, definitely, you're definitely the most aggressive one that we've seen. Here. I was saying we had one that had 220 hits on the bag. There's another one that had more hits than that. We just stopped counting. And our threshold at that point became, if it has less than 220, it's like a 9. And if it's over that, it's a 10. That's what we ended up doing. Like that'll just be easier to do it that way.
There comes a point when bees get to a point that they're that mean. I don't enjoy beekeeping.
No,
It's not
like you can
enjoyable.
see, she's actively trying to sting it.
Yeah.
And most of them went for the cloth head.
Yeah.
So they
I've seen
actually
that.
really didn't pop it that much. One of the downsides with this is their stingers go in and out of this material. It doesn't park. If they sting the bag, it locks it in. But you can see how much they're still coming after it.
Yeah.
Just me holding it. Because
They're
they
still
permanently can
recognizing.
smell.
Yeah,
They know this is the thing they hate. So, interesting.
Cool.
And really, the best way to get something is if you have it go like this,
Yeah.
they'll just wipe the hell out.
Oh yeah, they can see them coming out.
We don't like doing it this way because it's a bit harder to get this set up the same way.
Yeah.
You can just see how much they're just going for it.
Yeah, they're all over there.
They don't like black, they don't like black. That's everything. Grab the smoker.
I will.
You got your apivar strip off the ground. Here's the one you're not going to see in a week. In the grand scheme of hives, they're not that mean.
Yeah.
I've dealt with far meaner hives than beginners apiaries, which makes me cringe. Like, how are you supposed to learn beekeeping? People tell you asshole bees. Really, I don't think it's fair. Now that said, I think a lot of us start with asshole bees.
Yeah. Yep, that's a fact.
And part of that is also you don't know you have asshole bees, so you don't deal with it.
Yeah, and you don't know how big of a pain you're. Like you say, you don't check everybody's house.
Yeah,
So.
unless you're in other people's apiaries, you really don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's some beginners I went to the apiary like, oh, I got such lovely bees, and I'm within 5 minutes of saying we need to burn these hives. This cannot be left. These are a danger to life and health. They need to go away.
One of the things I found out when I first started beekeeping and listening to the guys in the club is what they. I don't know how to say it and be politically correct, but what they said and what actually happened was a lot of times two different things. Because I listened to a guy, it wasn't none of the guys that I've mentioned in this video, but I listened to a guy when I first started who said he never lost a hive. And I'm like, that's the guy to listen to. I'm going to do everything he says because he's never lost a hive. Well, he lost a bunch of hives. He just didn't, what he said and what he did was two different things.
I'll tell a story, then we'll stop. You can record the story. Story's fine.
All right.
Like my third year, I bought a guy out. He was like a third or fourth year beginner. He wasn't having much success with it. He wasn't keeping the bees at his place, so it was kind of a pain in the butt. And he just wanted to sell out, and that's fine. And I remember he told me how strong the bees were and how he inspected them every time he fed them. I'm like, okay. Well, we go out there. I'm looking at this hive, and you ever see that robber cloud? Like there's these bees that they're flying in from somewhere, then they stop about 3 feet from the hive and they start looking around at it. Like, oh, this is a hive getting robbed down. This is a strong hive, and it's getting robbed down. I'll light my smoker and get a jacket on. I'm not gonna, we're smoking this one. As I'm getting my smoker together, he says, oh man, I never use a smoker. That's alarm sign number one. And, you know, I smoke the hive, and they're robber bees, and if you smoke robber bees or you take the lid off, they just pour out. Because they're not defending anything, they're going to the light and they're getting out. So I pop the hive with the smoke and just bees come out. They blow right past us, they're not stinging us. He's like, oh, you're really pissing them off. And then pop the lid, and he'd been driving out there every week to feed them.
Feeding robber bees.
And he was feeding a pint jar. You know, driving for hours to feed a pint jar of sugar syrup to these bees. And the colony had been dead for at least 2 months. He was just feeding the bees in the neighborhood, the robber bees, making his trips out there. He never got in the hive.
I've seen a lot of the video. I watch these videos all the time, and most of them are really good, but I've seen a lot of beekeepers on here that'll have, I got a really strong hive, and you get in there and there's no bees on the top bar.
Yeah.
There's just, it's almost empty of bees, but they don't know what a full colony of bees looks like yet. So that to them, it's you know, there's a ton of bees, which I guess there is, you know, for 10,000 bees seems like a lot.
It seems like a lot until
But
you see a real one. Yeah.
It ain't that much.
I went to, there was a bee club. They were trying to start something up, and they had their old time bee guy, their mentor, and we went and looked at his hive. And he talks about how he doesn't use smoke. I'm like, oh no, here we go again. Another no smoke guy. And he goes, yeah, I just open the top and I peer in through the little hole, and that's what I do for an inspection. And he's got no idea what he's got. He doesn't know if he needs to super it. He doesn't know if they're sick.
People do that on Kentucky beekeepers all the time.
Yes.
They'll show the front of the hive. So what's wrong with this hive? It's not flying as much as the other.
Hope there's bees coming and going. Must be fine.
Yeah. It's like, you got to look in the hive. You got to open the hive up.
Gotta get into them. And if you say you don't use smoke, my alarm bells are just going off. Because if you have bees in Kentucky, you need smoke for at least some of those hives.
Yeah.
At least some of them.
Well, I don't think about it because I've been doing it so long, but you know, you just don't realize what a normal hive is like if you haven't seen it. You know, you can see it through looking at other people's hives, or you can see it through experience. You know, I know last year they was a lot stronger than this year or whatever, but it's hard to see.
What I've concluded is about 95% of beekeepers have never actually seen a strong hive.
Yeah.
They've seen a hive that got populated and swarmed. They've seen hives with lots of bees, but not a true, strong, working hive. They're just, and part of it's the bees people are using, part of it's their knowledge.
Yeah.
Part of it's what they have, equipment-wise. Because you need drawn comb to keep bees in boxes, period.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And not everyone has that for a long time. So.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and shut the video off now. Appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate Jake coming out and give me a little more perspective on my bees compared to everybody else's. So.
Come to our conference January 27th, Friday in Louisville. It's Saturday, the last Saturday in January.
January 27th.
At the Louisville Convention Center. You can find tickets on Event Create in our website and Facebook.
Dr. Clarence Collison will be the
premier
speaker.
I think he's one of the best speakers in the world.
He is awesome.
One of the best.
He's forgot more about bees than I'll ever know.
Oh Christ.
He knows a lot. I've known him for a long time, or known of him.
I've tried to read his last article 4 times. I still don't understand him.
Yeah, he's
awesome. Unbelievable.
All right, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again on the next video. Thanks.